The music industry makeover.
Hey everybody, how you doing? Welcome to the Music Industry Makeover. It's Thursday night. To God be the glory. DJ Ronnie Ron, Rico Gibson, and D-Ray, the producer, is in the house with you tonight. Hope all is well. Hey, you all spread the word. Okay, God is good. Hey fellas, how's things going with you? How's your week been going?
Hey man, it's going moving kind of fast, man, and hey, it's glad to be here on another Thursday. It's going to be interesting, very interesting.
Amen. There's been a lot of stuff going on. I'm ready to get into it.
Yes, sir. We'll give shout out to our sponsors and so. All right, you all see it scrolling down there. MusicIndustryMakeover.com, Finio Max, SC Music, Renew Your Mind Records. Matter of fact, we have the CEO that's going to be on with us. That's right, Sam P. All right, and so we're going to be talking with him and so and things. And man, look at Vince just popping in all late and things, but hey, it's all good.
You can do that, man. You can do that when you're an owner. You just pop in.
Stop it. We got three. We got three. Stop that.
We got it.
What's going on?
Hey, also want to give shout outs to Goodfella Studios. Definitely. All right. Go check them out. Goodfellastudios.com in the Triad area. Okay. Hey, Jerome Goodfella, thank God for him and what he's doing. Goodfellastudios.com and The Rain, all facts. Okay. Go and download his music. Check it out. It's streaming all over the place. Yes. All right. Hey, Rico, tell us in the box and Just Life, what's going on?
Well, in the box, man, it's a show for all creatives. If you produce music, you're an artist, you have any type of talent, whether it's, it could be art, as far as management, the platform is for helping creatives grow and expand. We talk about a lot of how-tos. Tomorrow night, we have the lovely, prolific worshiper, singer, songwriter, Ayanna McDonald, right? She's going to be on. She's out of Atlanta, Georgia. Sunday, we're going to have Ricky on. Pastor Ricky and I, we actually host Just Life. If you're dealing with depression, you're dealing with life issues, that's what that platform is for, to help you, to encourage you. And this Sunday, we're going to be starting a series dealing with the blended family. For all you who don't know how to deal with the blended family, when you're dealing with kids that's not yours, there's rules to the game. We're going to talk about that, man, Sunday at 8 p.m.
Oh, wow, man. That should be interesting. Yes.
Man.
Awesome. Wow.
Oh, Lord.
But, hey, well, make sure you all definitely get on with that for sure. All right. Matter of fact, we're going to bring a guest on, and then we're going to get into industry news and things because, I feel he can help talk about this. Hey, our guest for tonight is none other than my man, Sam P., who's doing some great things in the music industry, and we thank God for what he's doing. He has several artists up under him, and so without further ado, hey, Sam P., man, we're bringing him to the Music Industry Makeover. How you doing there, sir?
I'm good. How y'all doing tonight?
What's up,
How you, bro?
What's going on?
Yes, sir.
Glad you're in the building.
Yes, the CEO of RenewYourMindRecords.com. There it is. And so, again, go and check out the website and check out the anointed music that's on there. So cool. And we'll be talking with them in a little bit later on. But hey, Danny, man, what you got for us, man? What's going on in the industry news? Hey, Mary, how you doing out there?
Hey, everybody. So it's two things this past week that I feel really impact independent artists. And there are some major lessons. One is protecting your brand, and two is owning your own platform. And so let's talk about your brand first. There's a blues artist by the name of Lady A, who's out of California, who's been a performing artist since 1987. And she's a blues artist, and I had never heard of her before this, but according to her bio and her website, she's been a singer since 1987. Well, that's on one side. On the other side, there's a country and western supergroup, as I call them, that went by the name of Lady Antebellum. And as a 3-member country and western group out of Nashville, who's had mega success. They've had mega hits. They've won multiple Grammys, CMAs, and everything. Well, in this day and age of Black Lives Matter, they decided that Antebellum, calling themselves after a period in American history that celebrated slavery, calling themselves Antebellum was not a great idea. So they decided that they were going to call themselves Lady A, and that was going to be the new name of their group. So, but they found out that there's this blues singer named Lady A from California that has been performing since 1987. And so what wound up happening is that through the two parties communicating with each other, they had come to an agreement, but then Lady A, the singer, decided that she wanted Lady A, the group, to pay her $10 million for the name Lady A.
$10 million.
$10 million. And she wanted $5 million for the use of the name, and she wanted them to pay $5 million to start a foundation for that would address racial reconciliation. Of course, Lady Antebellum Group and their team of lawyers balked at that offer, and they have decided to take her to court. And they're taking her to court because they have trademarked the name Lady A. She never trademarked the name Lady A.
Got to be on that business. You got to be on that business.
And so therein lies the issue that, of course, she's been performing now over 30 years with an untrademarked name.
Don't matter. They're going to win in court.
Exactly.
Wow.
And so I wanted to throw that out there to you guys and get your opinion on that, because to me, it'll be interesting what the court says and what the court brings back. But just on the outside looking in, it seems like a slam dunk case. So I will throw it out to whoever wants it first.
It's going to be very hard for the original Lady A to fight that in court because you don't have no paper trail, right? Trademarks are very important. It costs about $500 to trademark your logo or trademark your name. A lot of people don't want to spend that $500 that you see it as something useless. But in this example, you see that you don't never know, somebody may, because they really pretty much just going to take her name. And because they trademarked it. And even when they look at patents, when you design something and you put a patent on it, right? You know, it don't matter. They go look at the patent. And if your patent is still processing, you know, and it hadn't went through, you could very well lose it if somebody else patented it and theirs get processed quicker than yours. You know, so it's really important for you if you have an idea and you think it's, because every idea is a money making idea. If you're really gonna put it out and start working on it, you just want to go ahead and count that cost. I got to get and protect your brand, because now we have people that will steal your brand.
Absolutely.
That's
Gentlemen, there's two groups that is going through that right now. That will be the Commodores. You know the Commodores. They're going through the same thing. And New Edition. Because they are going through the same thing with trademark name. That name is key. That name is your brand. That name is, you market it. You can sell it. You can do whatever you want. You know, especially when you got a hit, especially when you made a few hit records. That name speaks volume, you know?
Right.
Luther Vandross is dead, and still, you understand? He's again, there's money being made off his music. You understand? Just the name alone.
Mary, to answer your question, no.
No.
Two
different things.
Yeah. Two different things. Copyright is for your performing arts and performing your intellectual properties. Your trademark is for your brand logo, for example, and your name. For example, if you know the Golden Arches, that's a trademark name. The Olympic symbol with the 5 rings, that's a trademark name. That when people see that symbol, they know that that's the Olympics. Right. And so, you know, and I did a little research, and Rico, you're right, it costs about $500. But her being in California, she could have got a state trademark as a starting point, somewhere between $100 and $200. And she could have got a state trademark that would have set precedent and said, okay, I at least have some type of a paper trail.
But you know, I think that I don't. You know what? I don't even think it's the money. I think that people don't understand business, and they don't understand what's important. Because she probably done had that $200 or $500 50 times over since 1980s. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
But when artists don't understand business, that's why you need to have somebody. You need to have a strategy coach. You need to have someone. If you can't afford an attorney, because strategy coach is going to give you the point you in the right direction. It's good to have an attorney. Although I know a lot of people can't afford an attorney, but the attorney works on 3 ways. Just so you know, you have one way is attorney would charge you per job. Okay, if they need to review documents, they'll charge you for that. But you also can put a monthly retainer for an attorney, meaning that you pay them a certain stipend every month, right? Or you can just kind of do it every quarter. So ask attorneys what's available, because some attorneys make it affordable to you. You know what I mean? But if you don't ask, you will never find out. But attorneys are very, very important today, because as y'all see, we're in a pandemic. All these people that are starting businesses in their home, now you're gonna get the swing of the virtual, how to make money. Man, protect your brand. It's important. Like
Absolutely.
it's important.
There you go. Protect your brand. All right.
Great.
Hey,
Hey, Sam, what you have anything to say on that?
Yeah, I agree with that. Just coming into it, I never knew anything about trademark. I ain't never know nothing about copyright until I had an older guy from my church who has his own financial coaching business. And I learned through that. So starting a business, you have to have at least somebody who's been in the game, knowing about trademark, knowing about copyrights, especially when it comes to music, because trademark shows that you're serious about it. And that money that you have, that $500, you might not have it initially, but you can save up to it. And as I'm gonna talk about when it comes to money, a budget, a spending plan for your household, especially if you got a family, you got kids. When you got that situated, then it will really help you when it comes to budgeting for business items and trademarks and copyrights and music and marketing and all that.
Yeah. And the last thing I'm gonna say about that is I felt like, and I'm not in her camp. I don't know her personally, but that $10 million ask was a mistake in my opinion.
Yeah, well,
You can't legislate 30 years of financial mismanagement in one legal action. And I felt like that, she asked for them to lower the boom on her.
Man, even if you would have said, man, 2 million, and with a group like Lady Antebellum, they got money, they're making money. They can pay that, write it off, at the same time, not saying that your brand is not important, but you can take that 2 million and create another brand. Because it's not like that's gonna jumpstart your business. So her decision for that ask really was kind of asinine. Because who's gonna pay you 10 million? That probably makes it. Well, let's say if she got a trademark, we're just gonna get it for nothing. So now you're not gonna make no money.
pretty much.
Right. And they're gonna ban her from using the name.
Wow.
I forgot what's the name of that company that you could look up to see if the name is if it's available or not. I know artists. I back in years ago, when I had a group, we did the same thing. We did the research to make sure that the name was official. There is something out there that said, okay, well, I think you registered with the Department of Copyrights, but there's something with something else. I forget where you look up the name to say, okay, well, gee, you can't use this right here because it's an artist name or something.
Well,
So
now,
every state has like little companies that can allow you to look it up, because when you can set up your name, like here in Florida, you got somebiz.org, right? So you can when you file a name, you can look up a fictitious name and see if it already exists before you try to do yours. And I think every state has, I don't know the name of the company in every state, but every state has a lookup directory before you file to see if something has already been filed in that name and how it's spelled and so forth. So, because something that has your same name, you can change the letter. You know what I mean? You can turn around and flip an S to make a Z and take a C to make a K. You know what I mean? There's a lot of different ways, man, you can do it, but you want to look it up. But the main thing is, man, stop being lazy and spend that money. That's, man, for the last week, man, I've been dealing with talking to people, man. And I know y'all probably think that we hard up for money. We're not hard up for money, but money is a process. You can't do music without money. Right? You go talk to anybody that own a label. You go talk to anybody that have any type of business where they're transacting business in the music business. They're gonna tell you, man, they got to spend money. Somebody gonna spend money, right? It's not a. It's one of the probably the most easy. It's probably one of the businesses that you can easily lose your surety because you're gonna have to spend money, right? You know, so but we're here to show you how to get stuff done at a fraction of the cost. You still gonna pay something, but that's what Danny is saying. You know, if you don't have the $500, well, at least go trademark it on the state level. Now, it may come to an issue like if you're in Florida and you trademark it in Florida, there's somebody in Georgia, right? And they had this. That's a whole other thing. So you may need to do a national trademark. And if it means something, a brand that you're gonna build, spend the money. Stop being cheap, man. Stop being cheap, man.
Pretty much.
Absolutely.
All right, hey, Danny, man, let's go to the next subject.
Yeah, let's go to this next one, boy. And I'm going to skate around this one.
Yeah, please.
Our good friend Nick Cannon stepped in it last week.
Oh, here we go.
And he said some things that he regrets saying. And while I won't get into the politics and the historical accuracy of what he was saying, or inaccuracies for that matter, an interesting thing came up when he put on a Facebook post how he was demanding that the Wild 'N Out show and a couple other brands that he created, he would retain ownership of them, and so he can take them away and do whatever. Which led me to believe that even though I'm not privy to his contract, I don't know what kind of contract he had. It leads me to believe he didn't own his brand.
At least not on paper.
And at least not on paper.
Which means you don't own it.
And he created what he described as $1 billion brand. And while that may be here or there, it is a multi-million-dollar brand. Wild 'N Out is everywhere. Wild 'N Out, they're on tour, they're on the web, they're all over the place.
Do you remember Michael Jackson? God bless, rest in peace, before he passed away, in Sony Music?
Right.
And he wanted to buy Sony Music, and Sony was just like, You know what I'm saying? Right. We believe me, your name is good and all. You understand? But you don't run things here.
Michael Jackson actually owned 51% of Sony. He owned the deciding share.
Mm-hmm.
So when you own 51% of a company, for all my business people,
absolutely,
when you own 51% of a company, you have the controlling factor. So he had the final decision, and that's why he's not here. But that's a whole nother conversation.
That's a whole
nother
conversation for real.
Educated, okay.
But let's talk about platforms and creating your platforms and protecting your platforms. The Music Industry Makeover is a platform that's owned by that's African American owned. And so I want to talk to the gentlemen who own it and put it out there, the importance of owning a platform. And so whoever wants it, get it.
Well, definitely the importance of owning a platform is that you have the freedom and liberty to pretty much say and do whatever you want to do, in a sense, because again, we as an owner, we have to be careful of what we say because we could be sued or that could bring negative press. So there is freedom of speech, but there's also freedom of consequences that may come with it. But again, if I do want to say something, we're not held liable to, all right, well, hey, I'm gonna fire you, whatever, or that's it now. Hey, because I own the content.
Or your show is canceled.
Or your show is canceled for sure. Yeah.
See, the thing is, and I think this is very, very important for everybody to understand because it's a huge lesson with the Nick Cannon situation with Wild 'N Out. When you get an idea, because we're in a different day. It's 2020, right? This is not 1960, 1970.
Right.
You know, you can literally start a show, because I see it all the time where cats will start a sitcom and they'll start getting 1 million, 2 million views. Somebody come pick it up. A lot of people love the show because you want somebody else's funding. Getting somebody else's funding is always a bad idea. Why do I say that? Because if somebody invests more money into your idea than you do, they're gonna own it, right? Because it's only right, because they put more money into it.
Right.
So as an artist, you know, like a lot of artists going to get deals, or you're trying to go and you're trying to get people to buy into your product or your business, it's best for you to go to work 5 or 6 jobs to save your money to get your product created, to get all your trademarks done, whatever financials you need to create. You might have to work, man, like a slave, being a slave to yourself, so that you can create the revenue that you need. Because what happens is, like Nick, you go and they Viacom made him, right?
Mm-hmm.
It don't matter because he had an idea, but you still took it to them and they blew up your idea, put you on a platform, allowed you to make millions of dollars or billions, your brand to make billions. And then it's demand, and say demand, like that's like me going to buy a house for you. I don't pay for it, right? You know, you bought the mailbox, right? But I done came in and took the house on 500 square foot of land and put it on 20,000 acres. You know, the house is now worth, instead of 20,000, is worth 20 million, and you're gonna demand that I give it to you because I kicked you out the house? Because then what's gonna happen is I'm gonna say, man, whose name is on the title? Who owned the land? Who owned this property? Right? Your paperwork. So sometimes you actually have to bite the bullet.
That's a good point.
And put your own money into your idea. If not, you're gonna have the same situation. A lot of you don't get that.
I think most artists think the same as Duke just said. Nick thought his name was the same value as money.
No. I throw another name out there. Ray Crocker, McDonald's.
Oh,
he
yeah.
bought the land.
Yeah.
Did he not?
A great movie.
Did he not? He was like, y'all won't sell it to me? Sure, I'll buy the land. No problem. No problem.
There's a before we hear from Sam, there's a young lady named Michaela Cole who has a series on HBO called I think it's called I May Destroy You. And before it got on HBO, she had offered that show to Netflix, and Netflix offered her $1 million for that series, but she had to sign over her rights. And she turned down Netflix because she wanted to retain some ownership of her show. And that's her platform, and she wanted to retain some of that. And so she was able to parlay that to HBO and own that platform. That is really important in this day and age, because you never know what could happen. And in Nick Cannon's case, I don't care if you're worth $10, $1,000, or $100 million. You say the wrong thing on the wrong platform, they will cut your water off quick, and you will find how much of an important person you are when they cut that water off. So,
but it's kind of stupid to be on somebody else's platform, and you're gonna. This is my problem I have. Like when Nick first signed that contract with Viacom, you didn't know who they were. You didn't know it was owned by Jews, right?
right.
Like if whomever they are historically, they was that when you signed that contract. See, that's the problem that I have with a lot of artists, that you kind of get fed up at a point, but then you do research to know who you were signing to, who those people were. So really, that's not an excuse, because then maybe you shouldn't have did the deal, right? And then if you're gonna do it, once you put your name on that contract and you agree to ride in the car with them, then shut up, because you already know what it was. You can't get mad and talk about it later.
There we go. I'm gonna throw another name out there. Shabba Ranks. When he started talking about the gay community, and he was on the label here, guess what?
Right, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
You never know. You don't know. And one thing I could say I experience about the Jewish community, they are tight knit, they well organized, and believe me, they have very much a lot of influence. You know, and I told Ron the other day, had it not been for a Jewish guy, where would hip hop be? Let's think about that for a moment, just for a moment.
There you go.
Just for a moment, yeah.
There you go.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
They don't
own
forget.
They own Hollywood and music, man. They run it.
Yes,
So
they do.
They got long memories.
Mm-hmm.
So, Danny, what was the question? Was it a question that you were going to ask Sam?
Yeah, I was going to say, Sam. Well, as a business owner, what is your opinion regarding creating your own platform or aligning yourselves with people who have platforms that you know what their intentions are and what your parameters and what your boundaries could be?
I think it's important to actually have your own platform, but you just have to remember that when you're having your own platform, it's a process because you're building something, you know. And like for me, I started in 2015. I didn't really know what I was doing. I just felt as the Holy Spirit was leading me. Um, I came back from Atlanta. Well, actually, I came back from Portal, Georgia. I started writing, and then coming to have Renew Your Mind Records, which is now Renew Your Mind Music. It's just based off Romans 12:2, not to be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. If I knew that having my own platform, being a Christian artist, and not just Christian artist in music, because Christian is the lifestyle that I now live, you know, so everything I do is representing Jesus Christ other than before. I knew having my own platform, I could talk about the things that I want to talk about, because in the music industry with Christian labels that are up under secular labels, you still got to go through the secular label to actually get the music out there. You can't just, and it has to be either you can't have too much Jesus, or it has to be positive,
Right.
you know. And so, you know, you still, like, for example, I just throw one out there, like Curb Entertainment, Curb Music, which that's one with Donnie McClurkin and all them under there. Mm-hmm. They have a gospel label up under them,
right?
But they still have to go through the top to get their music out there. And you know, a lot of gospel artists have put it out there. You know, they were frustrated, but you have to go to those label executives. They listen to that music and they like, well, this, if you do this to it, then we'll put it out there. And most of the time, if you really talking about something, especially as a believer, which goes against the world, it's like, okay, if you just take this out and replace it with this word, then we can put it out here. Mm-hmm. So in a sense, you have to compromise a little bit. Well, I ain't gonna say compromise a little bit. You have to compromise a lot. So having your own platform, having your own label, you know, it takes more work. But if you sit here and budget, manage your income,
good,
and actually go forth, like Rico was saying, and put up the money, because you can't front. You know, if you got money to buy Jordans, go out to eat,
say that, man.
Nature. Look,
on it.
I speak for myself. My wife and I was spending almost over $500 worth of eating out when we first got married. And so, and I'm not a rich guy, but I know I had $500 a month at least to eat out, because we love to eat out. But when we cut back, then I took that income to invest in my business, to get some equipment, to get studio equipment. And you can set up a home studio for like $250, you know, microphone, speakers, if you want to start out with a laptop and then upgrade to a desktop later. And now they got resources where you can lease stuff like that and make payments on it until you own it.
Yep.
They do.
If it's no, if it's no,
You can do it, but going back to the original statement, that owning your own platform is very vital. It's important. You just have to. It's going to take patience because it's not going to happen overnight because you're building something.
hey, hold that thought. Again, this is Music Industry Makeover. We come on every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you have any questions, so feel free to jump in on a conversation. We'll talk with Sam P. of Renew Your Mind Music. And again, you know, we're talking from the aspect of it. He's a Christian hip hop artist as well, and how difficult it is, and some of the highs and lows when you as an artist are trying to market and promote your music. Okay, and so he's going to be transparent on certain things. And if you're an artist, you have any questions, feel free, because you know we want you all to understand this is the music industry. This, you know, you have to invest in yourself, and he's given some great nuggets thus far.
So I got a question for you, Sam. Okay, knowing that you want to own your platform, right?
Mm-hmm.
My question to you is, it's a whole lot easier to go and just allow somebody else to fund your dream. But my question to you is, how did it feel when you counted the cost, when you realized that, you know, you're not going to rise up fast, you know, you're going to have to build your record company from the ground in a revolution of music right now, where everybody's can access to music. But what was it that did it for you? What event? What did you see? What did you experience to say, you know what? I don't really care how much it's going to cost me. I want to own my own platform and build it from the ground, no matter what I got to go through. But what event happened, or what experience did you have to cause you to have that mind to say, I want to do that?
Well, one of the things that caught my eye was that, first of all, I was a believer, and understanding from listening to a lot of artists just talking. You know, I invest in a lot of artists when they have a Patreon, or artists listening to their stories. When I heard, I believe it was Lecrae, you know, he one of the things that told me it was possible was when with Lecrae and Reach Records. And just looking at the history of that was an independent label. He was out there. He made good music. That said, you know what? I can do that too. And he's not changing the message. It's we all know what him and everybody else is talking about. And so that ignited me to say I could do it. And as I kept going on, things got frustrating. But when I look back at it, as more people started coming out in the gospel industry about music and say, I can put this song out here, but I can't put this song out here. I feel like I can't make the music that I want to make. That encouraged me to stay what I was doing, because, you know, one thing that I've learned is that you can be famous and broke.
Man, you preaching tonight.
Yes,
you can be famous, and you can be famous and broke. And I've seen even like famous gospel documentaries. Well, not gospel, but Christian documentaries, like from Hillsong. You know, they travel all over the world. They do shows, even as a Christian label or as a Christian group, but they were transparent and showed the struggle that it was. Mm-hmm. And I realized that even with that, you can still be famous. But one thing that ignited me: do I want to be famous, or do I just want to be successful financially for my family? Because the fame, I don't really need all that. I don't really need all the drama.
You have
You
to
know,
choose.
I got 2 kids. I got a 3-year-old. I got a 7-year-old, and I have a wife going on 10 years in September. If I can focus on providing for them from a financial standpoint, then and still do something that I'm passionate about, something that God has called me to do, then hey, I just why not just go ahead and build? You know, now if I wanted to be famous, Rico, we probably be having a different conversation. But then we have to take into consideration the cost with being famous, because you're out there, you're traveling, you're on tour. But I don't want to be doing all that if I'm hungry. I need some money. Like, hey, you know what I mean? Hey,
That's real.
because one of the things is that, okay, a lot of artists may not know is that a lot of these labels own your masters. They own your music. Like, you know, with Renew Your Mind music, I give my artists the opportunity to own their masters.
Wow, that's unheard of. Definitely.
That's awesome.
I give them the opportunities because they're independent artists and they're making this music for the glory of God. That's what we emphasize, renew your mind. And so the difference from a business aspect, we do marketing. We do marketing from a standpoint of making sure that every month we have this budget, so that from my end, working my job is my job. And for the purpose of feeding my family, as well as providing income for music, until the music that we get from the money that we get from merch, from shows, from streaming, is sort of building up to where I can reinvest that. So initially I started out with maybe $50 to $100 in marketing. And I know you might say, well, what can you do with that? You can make a Facebook ad for $1.
That's right.
Yep.
$1 daily. So if you do $1 daily for 7 days, that's $7. And you can reach some people if you understand how to do the targeting. And I can get on that later or something. But basically, you know, just it just got to be patient, because it does get frustrating.
And that's the key thing you say is patience. Because a lot of artists don't have patience during this process, and that's why they end up falling off and doing something else, because all right, man, this ain't working. But you know,
So
it's your motive behind what you're doing. Yeah, go ahead, Rico.
so I got a couple questions that kind of popped in my head as you was talking, and I think that's very important that we talk about, because in a lot of aspects, labels are dead. And simply because of the opportunity, you got DistroKid that you can release music on.
Right.
But I want to first kind of bring up the preface before I kind of pose the question. You know what record labels did? They brought you to the table. They brought you. They went and found you, brought you and your talent and your gift to the table. They put all their money on it, and they took all the money off the table, and you got very little. Now, when we have labels of the day, how much do you require your artist? Because the thing is like, if a dollar's a dollar, so if I got to spend the whole dollar, you can't get 30% of a dollar that I'm gonna spend the whole dollar, right? But how do you work it out? Because there's a lot of people that want to do what you're doing, and I think they don't understand it's different when you're independent and you're trying to work independent numbers on an independent label versus trying to do what Sony Interscope doing. You can't compare that. That's just different, right? It's a different machine. It's a different system. Their royalty system is just different, right? So
Exactly.
with your artists, and I just said all that to kind of set up the question so people don't think I'm just coming out of left field. How much do you require your artists pull out of their pocket to earn back X amount of dollars that you spend for them?
Well, see, here, my artists, the only thing that I keep is 10% out of 90.
Okay.
And that's from royalties, that's from sales, merch. That's the only thing I require, because one of the things is that, like I said I wanted to do this differently, but realistically, I don't worry about making a living from my label. That's why I have a job and I work that to help me. But it helps me to focus on my label and focus on my artists to a point. I won't sit here be struggling for money and I have to shut everything down now that, okay, we're not getting enough money from this artist, and then this month we ain't got no shows, and during this pandemic, we're not getting enough income coming in, we're not selling enough merch, things of that nature. So my artists, really the only thing that they give back is 10% to the label, as they brand, as they put out their merch of their own, because some of the artists here, they have like brands of their own under the label. Like one of our artists, Vessel Piece, his is Glory to God Only. Ernest Music, he has Morning Tea with the Word, his own little podcast that he's starting up. And Trizzy Trey, one of our other artists, he has his own production business, Three to Godhead.
Mhm.
So my question to you: do they actually buy their own merch, or do you buy all their merch for them?
Well, initially I buy the merch for all my artists, and I have a budget for all that too. And so I only have it's including myself. It's 4 artists on the label, and that's all I want to really go with right now.
Sam,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Let me ask this question, and you mean because Rico, you had another question?
No, that's it. You can go ahead, bro.
Oh, you touched on something. The tours, not the tours, but like the show dates. Because of the pandemic, I'm sure that around this time, artists get a lot of outdoor events, Saturday specials, Friday night clubs, or whatever, so on and so forth. So, how are you guys with your artists? You being the CEO, how are you making the adjustment? But from because we're in this pandemic and the shows are just kind of and that's when you make, I'm sure, the meat of your income.
Mm-hmm.
So how's that adjustment working out for you?
So, well, one of the things that I've seen is that with the shows, that like people are really actually paying for people to do streams and be right there, whether you're in your studio or whether you're outside, to watch a live stream. And we're on something called Gig Salad. And Gig Salad is another good platform that they made the adjustments to say, hey, we know a lot of people are not getting booked, so you can do it live. You do your live stream, they can book you from your Gig Salad to do your live stream from your home.
Yeah.
And they can pay you a fee.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's awesome.
Okay. Wow. Again, hey, we're talking with Sam P of Renew Your Mind Records, Renew Your Mind Music. You got any questions or so that you would like to talk with him? Again, he's an independent artist that's doing great things. And again, we just want to show the transparency as an independent artist of what you might be going through. And you're not going through it alone. But the key thing is not giving up. Now, I wanted to go to where you had did a video the other day, and you was talking about, of course, marketing Christian hip hopers. So just give us the gist of why you made that video.
Oh, so one of the things that in Christian hip hop, I noticed this, it's like it's in the middle. And like just even with doing shows and just trying to get events, the frustrating part about it is, okay, for us, if we do a show or if we, have people to listen to music, it can't be from hip hop standpoint, it can't be too holy.
Mhm.
But from a gospel perspective, it can't sound like the world, which I don't even really know what that means. But I sort of get it. But so it's like you're in the middle. It's like, okay. And so I'm just figuring, I just asked the Holy Spirit. I'm like, I don't even know who to market to. I mean, and so just looking back, I got on one day and I thought about marketing, and Facebook has a whole lot of tools, artists. So if you go on business.facebook.com, you can go to something called Audience Insights. And what Audience Insights has, you can type in the name of a famous artist. So you type in Lecrae, or you type in Christian hip hop as a genre. It'll pull up the ages of the people that actually are interested in Christian hip hop, and it'll pull up other interests that they like who the people are, if they are they in the military, if they work in sales, if they're ages 18 through 44, male, female. It'll also show them other things that they like. And so as I started doing that, I started notice we started reaching more people, because I realized that, and even by asking questions, a lot of people know who Bizzle is. A lot of people know who Lecrae is, but that don't necessarily mean that they Christian, and that don't necessarily mean that they listen to Christian hip hop all the time. But a lot of people who listen to them people, they also listen to 21 Savage. They also listen to Travis Scott and a lot of other secular artists.
Yeah.
And like one guy reached out to me from Poland, and
Wow.
he listens to hip hop. But he says he likes KB. He says he likes his message. He said, I'm not necessarily a Christian, but I do like his message.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but with that Audience Insights, what I noticed the pattern is that, okay, people who listen to Bizzle, they also listen to Kevin Gates. They also listen to Cardi B. So doing a marketing ad, when I market Christian hip hop, I'm gonna market Lecrae, Bizzle, and I'm gonna put some secular artists in there too. And with that, you can narrow down the search. So if you want to get a lot of people to go to your Spotify, your Apple Music, or your YouTube, you will put those individual artists in there, and also people who are on Spotify, people who listen to Apple Music. Narrow that down that way, and then run an ad for it, and you'll find that a lot of people are find your music, because a lot of times when it comes to marketing, I learned that we got a lot of music out that we made from the past, and it might be new to us, but it's not new to somebody who don't know who we are. So we just market it again, and it might be something from 2016, but it's going to be new to the person that just found us or just discovered us.
Man, you sound like you've been listening to the Music Industry Makeover, man.
Absolutely.
Oh, I have.
Yeah.
I do have a quick question. And Sam, you've been giving out some good nuggets, man, some good strategy. What is your business background? Did you go to school for business, or are you learning on the fly, or what is your background?
I have no business background. I learned business. I was forced to learn business when I got laid off my first job when I came out of college. And so I got into a company called Primerica. And
yeah, we know it.
And with that, I learned about life insurance. I learned about business. And the first thing that fascinated me was the whole 4 letters where it says employee, self-employed, business, and investor. And I ain't never seen that before in school, business class, or anything. And so it's like, you're here, you're an employee. And I'm like, okay, so how do I take those steps? How do I move to self-employed? And then I started notice people who say they have a business. They didn't have no business. They were just self-employed.
Correct.
And so it made me move past to another aspect. I said, okay, I need to get to this business and investor side. And so
business owner. That's right.
I was in there for about maybe 3 or 4 years and learning about business and trademarking, copyright, lawyers, attorneys, things that you need. I implemented that. And in 2015, when I decided to start Renew Your Mind Music, I took what I learned from, and one of the key things that helped me even to this day is learning the financial aspect. I cannot emphasize how money management can help you look at business and have a peace of mind, because you being a millionaire, so to say, is not just based off of you having $1 million. Like, based on everybody's different, but you can make $80,000 or $90,000 a year, and that can be equivalent to your $200,000 or $300,000 a year, according to how you have your assets and your liabilities.
There you go.
Boy, he dropping them.
And your debt.
And your debt, yeah. Get rid of that. So when I look at myself, I say, hey, on my job, I don't make a bunch of money, but I can give myself a raise by cutting down some expenses in my house.
Good.
So I cut my cable off, and I get a Roku stick. Boom, I don't pay for nothing. So now I just got internet. So I went from $134 to $69. So I just saved about $50 some there. So then my wife and I are just instead of taking our income and just going out on vacation, we're going to pay off this car, so then we can take down that car payment. Okay, that's another one. Now, I don't take the money that I get and buy more stuff. No, we keep that. We knock down these assets. We cut back on our security system. We found out that, hey, we're paying too much for that, so we're gonna knock that down. It opens up money for us, and then definitely our eating out from that $500 to like $150. So we knock that down, and we focus on, okay, this is the bill that we have to pay. And then from that, after that's settled, then we have business, then we have things that we have fun with, and we use them wisely. So if we're going to go to the beach, we need to plan on going to the beach and not trying to just act like we don't got it. Because if we ain't got no beach money, then we can't go to the beach.
So I want to jump in there, because you said something powerful, but I'm finna put it in layman terms where people can understand even more what you just said. What you said was simple, but I think some people didn't really get what you said. So we're gonna inch it back. You take a person that's paying $150,000, that's getting $150,000 a year. Okay, hold on. Let me.
Again, we're talking to Sam. Your mind records.
Okay, so you take a person that's making $150,000 a year, and you take a person that's making $37,000 a year. Now, follow me, right? That person that's making $150,000 a year, because he banging, right? He has an income, but he also has a $2,200 mortgage. He has 3 cars that he has on loan. Okay. He has 10 credit cards, and they all maxed out. He got a furniture bill, right? He's paying homeowner dues in the neighborhood for that place that he's living in. And the property taxes running about maybe $3,500 to $4,000 a year. So that same guy who's making that $150,000, right? That's what he makes. When you take that person that's making $37,000 a year, right? They're only making 37. Well, they actually live in an apartment, okay? Even if they don't own, they're saving money for a house, but they're renting $650, okay? All their cars are paid for, okay? They don't have no credit card debt, okay? They have the Roku stick and a Fire Stick, right? And so they spend very minimum, they have very minimum expenses every month other than just utilities and water and food. Everything else they bank. Now that person that's only making $37,000 is actually has more money than the person that makes $150,000 a year.
Yep.
Right? Because they don't have all that other stuff that's taking all those, they don't have all those liabilities every month, eating up all that money.
Right. Right.
Well,
Question, Sam, do you teach financial literacy to your artists? Do you pass this knowledge on to them?
I do.
Okay.
I do. I definitely encourage all my artists to have a spending plan, and because they can see, even if they have just a little bit, because I started off just with a little bit, and took that and managed that, because the thing about it is you get confidence when you can see that, oh, now I know for me to live I need to make this much. So when I get an increase, or when I get a raise, or when I get a different job, or just an increase in my business, okay, I don't have to go up with my liabilities. A lot of people go up in their liabilities when they get more money. That's why they become broke. Because now they like, okay, well, this caused this. Now we know that we have inflation and stuff like that, but at the same time, a lot of times we get happy. We get happy with our money. It's like, okay, now I can go here, I can go here. And before you know it, you feel like you're in the same place before, like Rico was saying. So, you don't get into more debt because you get more money, like managing it well. As we pay off cars, we know that my wife and I know that we going to eventually need another car, but I ain't trying to just immediately make another payment, because then it puts yourself back in the same situation we had before.
Right.
And so, when it comes to money management, that's one of the keys to help you with your marketing, because now it shows you that I actually have a marketing budget. So when we got people like you from the music industry makeover, we got PRs asking what your budget is, you can give them something accurate, and then you can let them know, hey, okay, well, this right here is not going to work for me right now, or this not here, because I don't want to waste people's time. If I go in and we talking about doing business and talking about doing marketing, partnering with someone else, I know they're gonna want to know what's my budget. And when I tell them my budget, then I can say, hey, I can go with this a month, I can do this a month, or I can't do this a month, because we got a budget for all our artists. And when it comes to marketing, one of our key marketing that we do is on Spotify. And because I know now, having kids, having a wife, I don't do all the marketing myself. So we have it's a company called Toned In. Y'all can look at it, TONEDEN.io. They do all the Facebook marketing. They do all the YouTube marketing for us. And just like you would do it, but because that's all they do, they're always growing and learning and expanding. Oh, we found this out now. So they do all the marketing for us with our artists. And I just say this year alone, on our Spotify, for the first time, 2 of our artists got over 1,000 some streams for the first time. And having 1,000 streams is not a lot, but it will help
Yeah, ain't
when you got followers.
You gotta start with that. You gotta start with that. It's all right. You're
Yeah,
gonna
that's
pay
what,
you gotta pay for thousands to get to a million, dog.
hey,
Yeah.
they laughing at me, Sam, because of the show that, a couple of weeks ago where yeah, Ron kept flashing. Yeah, Danny had 60,000 streams and equal $200.
no, 80.
$240.
$240 over 7 years, and it kept flashing. He kept flashing on the screen like I was an inmate. It just made me feel.
Like, yeah, like you can we as you start that 1,000 streams, but when it's organic people, because on Spotify it's not, you don't want to focus on streaming alone, because you can stream 1 month and then you ain't got nothing. You want to focus on people to follow you, because when they follow you, what happens, it increases the algorithm of Spotify, and as soon as you drop something, it's going to be right in people's release radar. It's going to be right in their feed. And so when they're following you, they're going to listen to their music, and then the more and more follows you get, the less marketing you have to do, because at least on Spotify, because as you keep focusing on followers instead of streams, then you got people that is already listening to the music. So when you look at Lecrae, if Lecrae already got like a million some followers on his Spotify, then it's no wonder that he has a million some people listening to it every month. But that's the part of building the fan base. So marketing comes when building the fan base, and asking questions like, hey, who do I sound like? Like for me, people say I have my unique sound. I'm like, I don't get that. Who do I sound like? I need some. I mean, but some people, if you don't sound like nobody, just you just go to the genre that you are in.
Gotta pick somebody.
Yeah, and or go to the people who you used to listen to. Like, I'm a heavy East Coast hip hop guy, so I listen to AZ, Nas, CL Smooth, Big L, Big Pun, Method Man, Red Man, Keith Murray, and then now coming over here in Christian hip hop, I listen to mostly Bizzle and God Over Money. I listen to a lot of Shaolin. I listen to Stephen the Levite. So I put all those, if they're marketable, I put you put those in your marketing ad. And so marketing that, you can see, oh, it's people that like this person's music and they like my music too. So you keep going with the same thing. And so like one of our artists, Vessel Piece, it was easy because when I used to work in the school system, one little kid said, hey, because I used to play their music, they said, hey, that sounds like 21 Savage. So what did I do? I made a marketing campaign for Vessel Piece under 21 Savage's fan base, and he got over 5,000 some streams in almost 2 or 3 days. That's because people, it's like, also, this is what you think he sounds like, and this is a third or fourth grader, because knowing that that's the generation that listening to the music that, oh yeah, I like this, they say they like the beat, so but it is some lyrics behind it. And so just using that, using the audience insights on Facebook to see that, everybody that listen to Christian hip hop ain't Christian, that's not trying to, get at nobody, but it's just real. It's Christian hip hop is music that people like, and I think that's a good thing, because I came into the thing feeling like Christian hip hop isn't for Christians. It's a message. It's for people who need to hear the gospel, and that's how I thought. But I also do realize that people who are believers, they need encouragement too. So for me, I make music for those unsaved and saved, because believe it or not, when it comes to church, it's unbelievers in church. It's just they might be sitting in the back just observing.
Hey, Sam, I want to thank you so much for coming on and everything. We got to wrap things up.
All right.
Any last words? Any questions that y'all want to ask them real quick? So, all right. Okay, awesome. Well, again,
appreciate you definitely dropping those jewels, guy.
Yeah, man.
Keep it going, man.
Keep it going.
Good stuff, man.
Definitely.
Definitely fed.
If y'all want to reach out to Sam P, all right, go to renewyourmindrecords.com, which is actually Renew Your Mind Music. But yes, definitely check him out. Anointed brother. We are working with him as well. We thank God for what he's doing. He gave y'all some great nuggets tonight that, again, we didn't prep him on this. He found this out on his own, and then also we heard some of the stuff that he's been listening to us, and so we just thank God for him, because he's a student of this, and so again, he's not making millions of dollars yet. So he's just like you all out there. If you're an artist, you got to invest in yourself. That's the key thing that he was saying. Invest in yourself, spend money. All right.
The main thing that he said is, and that he's doing, is owning his platform. You got to own your platform. Stop looking for other people to buy you into your own business. Then if they got to buy you into your own business, then you're not worthy to be the business owner.
And the brother is protecting his brand. He's up on trademarks. He's up on on his attorneys, and I'm sure he's not using a family friend who studied law over in Europe somewhere. He's actually getting a trademark attorney, and he's got an entertainment attorney. The brother is on it to protect his brand.
There you go. Again, an artist like you all that's making it happen, and you can too. And I like what he was saying, how he, money management, as he talked about that. You know what I'm saying? You cut out, we're not telling you how to spend your money, but don't come to us or other companies trying to get a hookup. You know what I'm saying? All right. It's real. Stop wasting their time. You know what I'm saying? Again, manage your money. If you really want something that you value, you'll make a way to make it happen. All right. Here's that. Hey, man, Sam, we sure thank God for you. Much success to you. Definitely want to have you back on. Like I said, you were dropping some jewels, bro. And hey, any last words you want to say to the people out there, real quick?
Hey, if God has given you a platform, that means it requires Him to maintain it, and He'll help you. But it takes work. It takes work, but like everybody like to say, faith without works is dead. One work is manage the money.
Oh, awesome. All right. Also, hey, Vince.
Stop being cheap. Get out that Walmart mentality. All right. How dare and again, now before we go, I'm gonna tell you right now, stop walking into Walmart. You give them the respect, you understand? But when it comes to your business and your music, you lack integrity. Stop it. Stop it. You know who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, Danny.
Hey, the old saying, people will buy what they want, but beg for what they need.
You go.
You need to stop it.
That's right.
Rico?
If you want to be successful in anything that you want to be successful in, you got to be patient. You got to stop looking where someone else is in their race, because you don't know everything they had to go through to get to that point. Stop desiring, because I've seen many people, heard many conversations of people saying they wish they were someone else. It's stupid to wish you were someone else, because you don't know what that someone else is going through. You only see what it is that you see, right? Mm-hmm. And you got to have your own experiences. The race is not given to the swift, but he that endures to the end. So you have to run your race. And in the music business, you have to be patient and you have to build.
Amen.
Amen.
Hallelujah. And remember, as I always say, you matter in the kingdom of God. So don't compare yourself or your ministry to anyone else out there. Just do what God's called you to do, and you'll be just fine. All right. Hey, you all be safe out there. We'll see you again, Lord's willing. So don't forget, In the Box tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Hey,
In the box.
peace.
Report
Yep.
it.